The feet rooted. Press down, especially through the base of your big toe. Rise up into this low bridge. And then segment by segment, drop yourself right back down as if you could feel every inch. Again, pelvis lifts, low back lifts. The thoracic spine starts to lift and you just lower down rib by rib by rib as you come back down. Feel your spine come into a neutral shape. Wiggle your feet wider apart from one another than you might usually have them, like actually off the edges of your yoga mat. And swivel your knees side to side, allowing your knees to go through as full a range as they possibly can. So this is your hip external rotation and internal rotation, and a bit other complicated movements happening here. And when you're ready, float your knees to the sky and draw your knees into your chest, rocking a little side to side for Malasana. Feeling perhaps a bit of a stretch across the buttocks or the low back. Keeping the knees bent in this way, start to separate your knees so that you're coming into a V shape with your inner thighs, rocking a little side to side, getting into the inner thighs a bit. This position here is the position of the deep squat if we were upright. So appreciate that, any opportunity for opening that you have there. And then I recommend keeping your knees close to your chest in the way that they are right now. As you rock your knees over to one side, you're going to open your opposite arm out, stretch the arms in opposite directions, and then close the arms together. Open it out and close the arms right back together. So you're kind of going over into this cactus shape. As you come back, you can reach the arm up by the ear and around, so you get a little extra motion that way. The lighting a little bit better. Lots of length and movement in the ribs and in your breath. And finally, if you want to have your block or your pillow underneath your head, you're welcome to do that as well. The last open, last close on this side. Slowly stretch out your top leg, press up and come into this little bit of a side stretch here. So you can restack your legs if you'd like. Top arm is going to reach towards your feet. And I want you to squeeze your legs towards one another and actually try to float your feet off the floor. Keep your knees down. This actually takes more core work than you might imagine. Stay connected, reaching your fingers maybe even past your toes. And then settle down. Settle down. Let's take the twist to the other side. So I'm going to switch so that you guys can see. Keeping your knees close to your chest. Front arm is bent to 90 degrees. Option of the pillow under your head, open out and reach up and over. So you're getting this sort of over the rainbow, around the world type action with the arm. Dynamically moving into and out of the thoracic rotation here. And last round or two. Same thing on this side. As you settle back onto your side fully, press into your top hand, stagger your legs, come up into a seated position or side seated position. Stack your knees again. Keep one hand on the ground. This is your opposite hand from where your feet are. And you're going to hover your feet up over the floor. Even if you don't get very high, just do as best as you can. Squeeze the legs together. Imagine you've got a little secret recipe between your ankles. Trying to keep it there. Connect to your core. And then relax down And go ahead and set your feet in a staggered way out in front of you so that you've got plenty of space between them. Wider than hip distance, certainly. As wide as your yoga mat, if not wider. Rock your knees right and left. And then go ahead and just take a very simple seat. So nothing fancy, cross-legged seat if that works for you. If you want to sit on something, I think that's going to make this next move a bit easier. We're going to root down through one sitting bone and lift the other. And go side to side. I'm almost tilting my block, but you don't really have to tilt the block. It's really more about trying to get an even amount of lift as you push down through the right sitting bone and lift the left sitting bone and lift the right. Now, if you're finding that it's particularly uneven, switch the leg that's in front, or switch something about the style that you're crossing your legs, that you're using across your legs, and see if that changes it. So this should engage quadratus lumborum, your obliques, all sorts of delightful muscles in your abdomen. As you come to center, find stillness and sweep the arms up. Retraction through your spine, decompression through your spine. And then open to one side into a twist, looking over your back shoulder. The front hand anchored somewhere on the opposite knee or thigh. Keep spinning. And then turn your shoulders back towards the front. Hand stays where it is. Backhand reaches towards the step. Find the side stretch. And enjoy this nice reach in the opposite direction. Arms out. Inhale up with the arms. Exhale, twist in the opposite direction. So looking over your back shoulder, get tall. One of the great things about doing the little shift to side first is that you're probably noticing that your body likes to shift to the side you're turning. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Keep the front hand anchored where it is on the leg. Back arm reaches. First get tall and long. And add a side bend. Breathing into the upper lateral aspect of the ribs. Back body a little bit. And inhale up. Rising to neutral and release your fingers around your back. Drive your knuckles down. Float the heart. Let's come into hands and feet. So here in table pose, do any kind of little shifts, any kind of anything that would feel good to you. And we'll start with a bit of cat and cow. Drop the belly down, pull the heart forward. Exhale, round up towards the center. Next movement to breath at a pace that feels true to you. So go slower or faster than I'm going. All is good. As you come to a neutral position, you take your left leg just straight out to the side. You're going to start to rock a little bit forward and back, first with your toes pointing straight to the front. You might feel stretch in your inner thigh, maybe even on the outer aspect of your butt. Couple more rocks. Inhale, rise up to a kneeling position. Turn your toes towards the ceiling and pull it up to glaze. Glide the hand down the leg and top arm by your ear. We're going to do a bit of a pulse secure in Parighasana or gate pose. You're going to look down, let the head drop, and then arm by the ear, just reach and look up. Exhale, curl. Inhale, get a little spirit of a back bend, even if it doesn't look like one. And keep moving back and forth, connecting to breath, making sure your bottom hand isn't too heavy on the leg. As you come up next time, reach it up, open the arms out. Find your right hand rooting to the floor, left arm to the sky. We're going to lift the back leg, the now back leg. Please bring your hand to your hip if you'd like. Pulse down and up a few times. And I'm actually just moving my hand around to see where I might be overworking or underworking. So I'm really trying to activate through the core. And you can also feel more of the posterior fibers of the glutes activate if you turn your toes down. Knee stays as straight as possible, back of the neck long. Last couple of pulses. This is like a fallen, half-moon pose. Lots of spirit, lots of energy. And then root and rise. And go ahead and bend this knee. Just take a few lateral lunges. I call this one the proposal position, but it's not a classic yoga, so not sure what its asana name would be. We're going to head back to table pose. Find your way back to table, all hands down. Rock a little front to back, glide a little side to side. Move in any way that would feel good with your spine, cat and cow maybe. And then as you're ready, right leg's going to reach out. Here comes the rocking. I'm going to show you from the side as you keep rocking. You want to make sure that in your rocking, you're not going through the cat and cow. So the rocking is asking us to really learn to differentiate between hip action and spine action. It might not be obvious, but the hips are much, much bigger joint than any of the joints of the spine. And so when you can transfer load through the hips as opposed to through a hinge spot in your back, everything gets better in the body, at least from a biomechanical perspective. So this is a really simple action to help us even with those kinds of ergonomics. When you're ready, you're going to rise up into this half-kneeling, funky half-kneeling position on your left leg with your right leg stretched out and turn your toes towards the sky. Now, if the leg feels like it's really far back, wiggle it a bit forward. That's totally fine. Slide your hand down the leg, top arm by the ear, Parighasana, connecting your breath in the side ribs. The hand that is on the leg is light. And we're going to move with breath as you exhale, look down a little bit, and inhale, look up a little bit. Exhale down, you know the drill. As you rise, cartwheel the arms all the way to the other side, coming into this almost side angle shape that then activates into a fallen half moon. The back leg floats, top hand can give you a little feedback and on the belly, on the back, on the glutes, anywhere that feels good. So I'm going to put my hand here at the low ribs and try to really stay knitted down and connected there. We're pulsing the back leg, possibly turning your toes down to feel more of the posterior fibers of the glutes. Little note, I just moved my hand forward because a lot of times teachers say to stack your shoulders over the wrists, but anatomically for the vast majority of us, it's going to be more comfortable to have the hands a bit more forward. Now the leg that's lifting and lowering, try not to bend your knee. It looks maybe like I'm bending my knee, but I promise you I'm doing my best not to. And try not to back bend too much, even if you like that variation of half moon with the back bend. Try not to back bend too much. Once you're fatigued, lower, rise to your kneeling position. And then let's just glide the hand down either leg, more or less staying in the same plane. So you're keeping your spine fairly neutral. You're not going into back bend or rounding. You're just gliding one shoulder blade down the back, allowing the rib cage to hold on itself on that side, and then the other side. Pivot back to the front of the mat, root your hands, rise up to downward facing dog. Next, this is your first down dog of the day. Take an extra breath or two here, pulsing through the calves, rising and sinking the heels, driving the arms strongly into the ground. On your inhale, please shift forward to plank. Squeeze glutes together, hug thighs together. Connect your breath here. You always have the option of being on your knees. One more cycle of breath in plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lower down to your knees. Drive down onto your forearms. And we're going to do a little bit of cat and cow here on our forearms. So exhale, round up. The earth. You know what I want us to do? I want us to round and inhale into the upper back. So try experimenting with that. And then exhale as the belly drops down. Round into the upper back. Exhale, belly drops. As you round and breathe in, you can feel this little added bonus expansion between the wings. Last one. Root your hands. Rise up, down dog. Shift forward, find plank. Roll to your tiptoes, the option to take the knees down. Slowly lower to belly. Float hands and come into a back muscle dominant back bend, right? So we're not using our arms. Focused pose, feet up or down, or a light cobra. Root your hands and reconnect to the front body. Maybe it's through plank, maybe it's through knees down plank, maybe it's through table. From down dog, start to walk your hands back of mat. Allow the knees to bend at the back of the mat. You'll just rock as much as you wish, side to side. Shake out your head. We'll do a bit of dynamic hamstring stuff. So inhale, rise up. This is our ardha uttanasana. Exhale, fold down into full uttanasana. Inhale, rise up into ardha uttanasana, neutral spine. Exhale, bend knees and fold. Last one. Feel if you can notice the back of the thighs, the hamstrings, the glutes active here. And as you exhale, letting that go, you're going to bring either your hands or your elbows onto your knees for dynamic hamstring stretch, bending, straightening. When you're ready, walk your hands right back out to your downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward plank. Exhale, lower down, optional knees, full chaturanga if you prefer. Inhale into the back bend of your choice. Exhale, connect to core. No rush, down dog. If you happen to have two blocks, having them under your hands here, especially for this first walk up of the practice, might feel exceptionally good. Just to give you a little height, a little extra space, or trying to keep your knees as straight as possible. Walk slowly to the front of the mat. Rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms beam. Palms meet and greet over the heart. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, right foot to the back. So drop in, make the front leg work firmly and hard. Hug the thighs to the midline, bloat the belly. Keep your lowest ribs in front connected to the front of the pelvis. Crown of the head reaches. Imagine that you're in Tadasana from the head to your back heel. Shoulder blades squeeze, palms flip out a little bit. And then really feeling the burn in the front leg, hopefully. Arms reach by the ears. Crescent lunge. Slowly rise. Bring your hands to your hips. Lower your back knee down, maybe to tap the floor. And straighten it up. So it can be a much shallower tap or bend in the knee. But if you can get all the way down to the floor, go for it. 2 more. And then as you rise, keep that inside arm active and long. Lower down, side angle, side plank activation. All hands down, optional vinyasa. You might go straight to down dog and just drive through the arms, really keeping a sense of activity in your core. You can take any flow that would feel good. From your down dog, start to walk your feet towards the hands, maybe crisscrossing legs. The front of the mat, inhale halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, rise through the arms, palms meet and greet over the heart. As your arms reach up, keep your ribs in, almost embodying the spirit of a hollow back hold. And then fold in half. Halfway up, left foot to the back. Strong, powerful line of energy in the back leg. Drop through the pelvis. Activate front body. Float the hands. Keep the ribs connected to the pelvis. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure I'm not going into back bend early or rounding my spine. I'm just staying stable, as neutral as I can be. Arms float by your sides. Maybe the palms flip out a little bit. Shoulder blades retracting, ribs back. Arms by the ears for lower trapezius activation. Inhale, rise to your crescent lunge. Gorgeous expression. And then exhale, hands to the hips. From here, lower your back knee down and rise. Go as slowly and as softly as you want with this. If you can touch the floor, do it. I think we have 1 more. Arms reach again, crescent. Keep long on that inside arm with probably your left arm if you started with the right leg back. And then right arm to the sky. All hands down. Down dog or vinyasa. Always staying connected to your back body after your back bend. Go ahead and walk your hands to the back of your yoga mat. From the back of your yoga mat, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way. Your palms over your heart. Please bring the hands to the hips. Shift your weight onto your left leg. You're going to draw your right knee up to your chest. Start to draw some circles with that ankle. Go in the other direction. bending through your standing leg. Keep this lifted leg up. Take a nice big leap forward. Drop it right back down into your crescent lunge stance. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, take it forward 45 degrees with your spine. And then here's the fun part. Pivot your back heel. Pivot your spine. Pivot your back heel so it's like your whole body is working. This front hip is moving into external rotation as you open and a neutral position as you kind of close this back pelvis. Back heel down. Back heel close. This next time that your back heel comes down, keep the bend in your front knee. Rise up, warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Pull this front hip back so that you're really creating a wrinkle or crease in your yoga pants at the top. Glide the hand down the leg, landing somewhere on the shin, top shoulder. Keep the chin tucked, back of the neck long. Maybe top arm towards the sky or by the ear. Maybe bottom arm by the ear. And yogis, you're welcome to bend in. Root your hands, take the vinyasa. I'll be shifting to the other side so that you can still see. Downward facing dog. Please walk your hands all the way back to the back of the yoga. Shake it out a little bit. Shift your weight right and left. Shake out your head, left and right. Nod it up and down. And then begin to stack. Vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. Rising up as you are ready. Bring your weight into your right leg. Left knee is going to rise. Hug it into your chest. Practice your balance. Start to draw some circles here. With your foot, with your ankle of your lifted leg. And then draw them in the other direction. You're always, always welcome to hold on to something to do any of this balance stuff. Stay rooted in your standing leg. Big leap with your lifted leg. Coming into your crescent lunge. Exhale, take it forward. Find your 45 degrees forward. Hand to the abdomen if that's useful. Back heel down, spin the chest. Back heel up, spin the chest. What's most interesting about this isn't the part that's really moving. It's the part that's stationary. So see if you can keep that knee pointing over your middle toe as you open and close the book. Open the book and close the book. Open the book, close the book. Last one, open. Sink the heel, rise the heart, warrior two. Pelvis is at an angle here, as I've mentioned in other practices. From here, straighten your front leg, pull back at that hip. So set yourself up for success while you're still standing. So you're pulling back, moving your hips backward, pushing your big toe into the ground. Glide your hand down and don't feel at all obligated to get to the floor. Stay maybe upper shin, lower thigh, top shoulder rolls back. Arm might reach to the sky or might reach by your ear. Check in with your feet before you add anything else. Can you spread your toes? Can you lift your arches? Can you push down through the base of your feet? Notice I made an adjustment there. That's good. Other arm optionally by your ear. Ribs in. All hands down. Step it back to down dog. Shift forward to plank and option to move through the vinyasa. If you want to just stay in plank, that's a good option as well. From downward facing dog, there was one pose that we got on one side, but not on the other earlier in our practice. Lower down to your knees, and we're going to make it happen on the other side. Rise up into kneeling, and this time take your right foot out in front of you, back foot behind you a bit, so the toes can be pointed in completely 90 degrees difference, and we're going right back into that proposal position. I realized just a moment ago, I think we missed this on the second side. It's equally important, right? We're getting into that inner thigh action. And then as you're ready, rise it up, root your hands. Let's meet and greet in downward facing dog. All right, so from down dog, please rise one leg to the sky. Exhale, draw your knee into your nose. Inhale, leg to the sky. Feel free to do this from table pose. Exhale, knee to nose, rounding, rounding, rounding. Feeling the ribs in your pelvis get closer to one another. Inhale, legs up. This time, hover. Tap your same side arm. Tap your opposite arm. Tap same side arm. Tap opposite arm. And then go ahead and settle your knee to your opposite arm. So my right knee is close to my left wrist right now. And the back foot's going to pivot a little bit. And we're going to have our top hand on the pelvis. Spin and look over front shoulder. And spin and look back over back shoulder. Spin and look over front shoulder. Hip opening in a dynamic way. Back over back shoulder. See if you can do this without your hands on the floor. And if hands on the floor is more sustainable for you, see if you can do it with your hand on the floor. It doesn't really matter. We've got one kind of double dog dare happening in just a moment, which is to tuck this back knee into your front foot. Front shin is parallel to the edge of the yoga mat. And you're going to come up into this funky kneeling shape. So the more you bring your two shins in line with one another, like you're on a balance beam, the more challenging this will be, the more balancey this will be. Hug in, get tall, make your warrior one arms. And then as you're ready, lower your hands. Play with the vinyasa, find a plank, go straight to down dog, yogi's choice. I'm going to go to plank. In plank, if you choose, round your upper back a little. Squeeze your glutes an extra amount. See if that deeper connection from your low front ribs to your front pelvis changes anything. It does for me. We'll all meet in down dog. And from here, resetting breath. On your next inhale, rise, opposite leg. So if you rose your right leg the first time, left leg the second time. Exhale, knee to nose. Feel free to do this from table. Inhale up. Exhale, knee in. Inhale up. Really come into cat spine as you do this. And then bring your knee to the same side elbow or arm. Opposite side, same side, opposite side, and slowly slither down to the ground so we get a little bit of a rest in between. Let that back knee bend as much as needs to feel comfortable. And put your top hand on your pelvis, rocking back and forth. If you can do this without your hands, more power to you. Your gaze into it, pivoting.
And then we're going to line up knee into the arch of the foot, more or less. Open your back knee a little bit if that's reasonable for you. Put your hands to the ground on the front knee, maybe either side of the front knee, maybe close to the edge of your mat. And rise to this kind of kneeling position on your shins. Find your balance beam. Straighten out through the legs as much as you can. Squeeze everything in, connecting the core. Add your warrior one arms if you feel secure here. And then palms together over the heart. Root hands. Connect. And move. Optional vinyasa. If you have a block, position it towards the front of your mat.
From downward facing dog, please begin to walk your hands all the way back towards the back of your yoga mat. Shake everything out. And then start to stack vertebra by vertebra unless you have any reason not to.
We're going to stand on the right leg. Draw that left foot up, this time into tree pose. Sole of the foot to perhaps the inner calf, the inner thigh. Ears back, palms together over the heart. From this Tadasana shape, take a little bend in your knee. The bend is going to allow you to lift your left knee, leap it forward, sink your back heel down. Open out into warrior two. Straighten and bend your front knee a few times. And as you're ready, bend in, lean, land the hand maybe to the block. Block in the tall position, back leg lifts. Active back leg, connected core, maybe flying into half moon. Lift that back leg a little higher, bend and straighten your standing leg. You can also put your top arm on your hip. You can gaze down. You can put your top arm on your abdomen again if you want to feel the core connection here. Make sure your back muscles aren't the only ones holding you up. Let's take one more breath. Slowly lower down. Warrior two. Vinyasa, should you choose to take it. If you're switching to the other side of the mat, like me, grab your block, bring it around. Options in most yoga classes, instead of vinyasa, is usually child's pose. I'm a big fan of taking something more static and strong, like plank or knee down plank, or down dog. So, wherever you are, we'll meet in down dog. Connect to breath, walk your hands, back of mat. Knees bend, shake everything out. Stack spine, vertebra by vertebra. Weight in the left. Right tiptoes, you've got the heel to ankle or calf. You've got the foot to the calf. And you've got the option of sole of the foot to the inner thigh for tree pose, Vrikshasana. Palms meet. Gaze is steady, breath is steady. Tadasana, leg in standing, crown of the head, through the sky, back of the neck long. Draw the lifted knee up, bend through the standing knee, and take a big leap here. So you're going to set your foot, back heel sinks, Open out warrior two. From this warrior two shape, keep a deep bend in your front knee. You're gonna keep it bend and straighten a few times. And as you're ready, you're gonna bend in, adjust, grab your block perhaps, open this back leg, find your version of half moon pose, ardha chandrasana today. Top arm reaches by the ear, back leg lifts, front knee kind of bends just a little bit, standing knee. You can really do a pulse here. And this pulsing action can teach you about hip strength, knee strength, foot and arch strength. We're looking for as much stability as possible within the dynamics of our movement. One more breath, maybe connecting in, making sure one muscle's not taking over for all the others. And then slow motion lowering down. Finding our way to your warrior two and back to your final vinyasa if you choose to take it. You're in downward facing dog. I invite you to drop down onto your knees. Rest for 3 to 5 breaths in child's pose. One breath, connect to the back body. And as you shift forward, you're going to come onto your forearms. Roll your toes. Lift your knees just a little. Shift a little front to back. Settle down through your knees. Just rotate your legs, and then grab your block or your bolster or your throw pillow if that's what you're using. And you'll want to, again, set your feet in front of you and slide your block underneath of you. We did this shape on our backs earlier. So now, knees are a little bit apart. You're going to slide your hands and your arms down the inside of the legs. Glide a bit to the right, glide a bit to the left. A little right, a little left. Opening your knees a bit wider as you go through this side bend with rotation. And as you push out into one leg, open your other arm back and up. Change sides. Back through to center, palms pressed over the heart. It's totally fine if your heels don't touch the floor here in Malasana. If you need 3 blocks, if you need a chair underneath of you, none of that matters. Just find a position of comfort. Move the hands. Lift off the block of blocks. And settle your feet out in front of you the way we did in the beginning of the class. So feet wide apart. Wider than the edges of the yoga mat. And go ahead and drop your knees to the right, to the left. And notice if anything feels a little bit different. moving in the direction of shavasana. So make sure you have anything you want nearby for shavasana. Could be blanket, a bolster if you're going to sit up, meditation cushion. Even if you're going to be sitting in meditation, like I will, join me in finding your way to the middle of the mat. Feet wide, knees bent. Turn your toes to the sky. Dig your heels in a little bit. And start to lower your body vertebra back onto the mat. Stretch out if you have the space. And you can either, from here, draw your knees in and just stay in this cozy, nourishing Malasana, knees to chest shape, or knees slightly apart shape. Or you can take another dynamic, still, softer, stiller twist. First to the right for a few breaths. And to the left. You're ready for seated meditation. Grab your cushion. Adjust your legs. Choose your position on your back. Maybe your knees are even bent for shavasana, or maybe you've got blanket roll under your thighs or under your head. Wherever you are, allow your fingers to curl in, your eyelids to be heavy. Give over to gravity, weight of your bones. Imagining muscles draping your body. Noticing natural slowing down, the breath. The bottom of your exhale, increasing that pause just a little bit longer. It's called the external cobra. Imagine every wrinkle, every furrow, forehead melting, releasing. Without any judgment, just noticing where your mind may have wandered. Bringing it back into the present moment, inviting a deepening of breath. Wiggling your fingers. Wiggling your toes. Stretch long. Circle out. Roll your shoulders. Take a full breath in. If you're on your back, after you exhale, draw your knees to your chest. Rock a little side to side. Take your time to slowly press up to seated. Stacking all of us from the pelvis through the ribs, ears, and the skull. Stacked one over the other. Let's bring one hand to the heart center, one to the low belly, noticing breath. Let's give thanks for this moment of togetherness. Let's give thanks for this practice and for our health. Let's give thanks to all of the teachings that came for this one to help make this possible. Great honor. Namaste.